baby. I am really, really proud of this story, which is probably not that surprising. But it's the kind of story I really loved when I was a kid. It's a story with a lot of magic, and it's a story with great friends, and you know how important friends are when you're a kid. And I'm going to read an excerpt from it to you. And the excerpt I'm reading is actually pretty far into the book. And it may sound kind of spoilery, but it's not really that spoilery, and you're going to enjoy it anyway. So, apologies if it's a little spoilery, but not too much, I promise. Oh, and I guess I should introduce the section so you're not totally lost. At this point, Micah, the main character of the book, has actually made it to Circus Mirandus. And it's really like a pivotal moment for him. He really thinks he's about to get exactly what he's come for, which is a miracle for his grandfather who's dying. He thinks that if he just gets here and he just talks to this fabulous magician, the light bender, that the light bender can save his grandfather's life. And so he's made it here, and he's just seen the light bender's show, and he's just had a realization. And so this is that part. The light bender appeared beside Micah. The flashes of light in the night sky painted his face in shadows. In your case, I fear that is not a good idea. You're an illusionist, Micah said. His throat had gone dry. The light bender nodded. I knew that, but I didn't realize none of this lasts. It's all in my head. I'm afraid so. Stepped toward Micah. He lifted one arm as though he planned to reach out to him, but then he dropped it back to his side. I am sorry. The fireworks were fading. The light bender's tent was coming back into view. Micah felt like a kite with a cut string, tumbling through the air, the ground falling away beneath him. He barely noticed his friend Jenny trembling in the seat next to him. They were the only children left in the stands. He said you could help us, though. Micah's voice was hollow. Grandpa Ephraim, he said you could help. Not in the way you want me to, Micah. I cannot trick death. What good are you, then? Somehow Micah was on his feet. What good is any of this? He wanted the light bender to argue with him. He wanted him to scream so that Micah could scream too. But the illusionist never raised his voice. I'm sorry I can't give you what you want. Go to Rosebud. She lives in the wagon behind Mr. Head's tent. She'll give you something to make Ephraim feel more like himself for a little while. I don't believe you. You have to be able to help. All of this. Micah waved his arms to encompass the whole of Circus Mirandus. It's perfect and amazing, and it's everything. You can save him somehow. If you would just come back with me. If you saw Grandpa Ephraim, you would help him. I know it. He shook his head. I can't, Micah. And I try not to leave Circus Mirandus. I maintain the illusions that keep us hidden from the world. If I leave, things become difficult. Please, Micah's voice cracked. Please come. The light bender looked away. Micah grabbed Jenny by the arm and pulled her up. He backed away from the light bender. You don't care, he said accusingly. You're not even going to try. He tugged Jenny across the stage and toward the exit. His own fury was burning him alive. As he stepped outside, the night air felt like 1,000 points of ice against his skin. In the dark tent behind him, he thought he heard the light bender groan. He thought he heard him say something in his too quiet voice. Dear, dear Ephraim, could you not have asked me for a smaller miracle? Micah almost walked into the strong man on his way out of the tent. The giant in the bowler hat didn't say anything at all. He stepped out of the way and let them pass. Micah bulled his way toward the gates. He wasn't going to spend one more moment in Circus Mirandus than he had to. Jenny stumbled after him. Micah, she said in a shocked voice. Micah, I don't think the light bender uses cameras. He might as well. I think all of it's real, Micah snorted. Slow down, said Jenny. I need a minute. I need to think. But Micah didn't slow down, and they were just yards away from the outside world when Jenny dug in her heels. Micah jerked to a stop and dropped her arm. What about Rosebud's wagon, she said. Micah shook his head. These people aren't going to help us, Jenny. We shouldn't ever have come. The lightbender said she could give your grandfather something to make him feel better, though. If this is all real, don't you want to try?" No, Micah didn't. He had tried and tried until he was scraped raw inside. "Micah Tuttle," Jenny cried, "you can't give up now.